So, I just saw this headline out of Tokyo that honestly sounds like something straight out of science fiction. The world's very first AI mayor. They're promising this perfectly efficient, data driven utopia. But what's the real story? Let's dig in and see what's actually running behind the code. This was the statement that came with the announcement. Just let that sink in for a second. Human politics is over. I mean, wow. That's not just some tech buzzword. That's a direct challenge to the future of our society. It's ambitious, it's provocative, and it definitely needs a closer look. Okay, so to really get what's at stake here, we have to start with the official pitch. What exactly are they promising? Let's break down the vision of a perfect city that this is all supposed to deliver.
So, what is an AI mayor? Well, at its core, it's an algorithm. But, this isn't the algorithm deciding what video you watch next. This thing is being given the keys to run one of the most complex cities on the entire planet. The whole idea is that its decisions are based purely on data, which, in theory, removes all the messy human stuff from leadership.
And here's the sales pitch. And you got to admit, it's a pretty good one, right? They're promising an end to corruption, because how do you bribe a line of code? An end to fatigue, because a machine never gets tired. It's just crunching data 24/7 for what they're calling maximum efficiency. On paper, it sounds almost perfect. Now, just look at the sheer scale of its control. We're talking about an entity that processes all city data all the time. It makes decisions in milliseconds, and it doesn't just suggest things. It directly controls critical infrastructure, like public transportation and the entire city budget. The speed and scope of this power are just completely unprecedented. But, with any tech revolution this big, you have to ask a really basic question: who benefits? This didn't just pop up out of nowhere. So like any good investigation, the next step is to follow the money. And yeah, there is a lot of money here. We are talking about an investment on the scale of billions, with a B. That's the kind of money that doesn't just build a new app, it can completely reshape a country's entire technological future.
And the source of all that cash is one of the biggest names in tech, Microsoft. And suddenly, this whole thing feels a little different, doesn't it? It stops looking like a simple civic experiment and starts looking a whole lot more like a massive corporate venture. And that brings up some really serious questions about a private company's influence over public government.
You see, the goal here is way bigger than just one AI mayor in Tokyo. This multi-billion-dollar investment is actually laying the groundwork for Japan's entire national AI infrastructure. The source material even calls this evolution unstoppable. So this isn't just a trial run. It's being sold as the inevitable future, bankrolled by big tech. This brings us right to the central conflict, the real heart of this entire story: efficiency versus freedom. What's the real price for this promised perfection? And what are the hidden trade-offs that they're not exactly advertising? Even the source material itself poses the fundamental question: are we actually solving our problems here, or are we maybe creating a much, much bigger one by handing over our collective freedom to a machine? And here's the dilemma laid bare. On one side, you've got the promise: maximum efficiency, data-driven decisions, zero corruption. Sounds great. But what's on the other side of that deal? What happens to democratic accountability when you can't vote an algorithm out of office? When there are no town halls, no public hearings? Where's the room for human judgment in situations that data just can't capture? Does a future without corruption also mean a future without choice? Ultimately, this all boils down to one final crucial issue that sits right at the intersection of technology, power, and society. And that is the simple yet profound question of trust. And make no mistake, there are powerful voices pushing hard for this future. Organizations like CollabGenerate are actively championing this vision. They argue that AI isn't just another tool, but it's the new standard for leadership itself. For them, this isn't a loss of freedom, it's just a necessary evolution. So that brings the question right back to us, doesn't it? Let's just forget the theory and the billions of dollars for a moment. Would you personally trust an algorithm to make decisions about your neighborhood, your commute, your taxes, your future? In the end, we're standing at a crossroads. Is this the leadership of the future, efficient, logical, and totally automated? Or is it a future where our most fundamental right, the right to choose, is rendered obsolete? That's the question we need to answer, and we probably need to answer it soon,